Now, right out the gate, I think I'm going to start this tutorial by looking at a number, but I'm going to make it a big number. So let's just try this one. 6, 4, 2, 3, 0, 5, 1.8, 2, 3, 9, 7. There you go. How about that one? That's a big number. So, as per the previous videos, you need to organize these numbers, and there are ways to organize them. And one of the ways to figure out what all these digits, what value these digits have, and what meaning they have, one of the ways to do that is to understand place value. And yes, this is the simplest one, is first three digits, ones or units, tens and hundreds. Now this hundreds, tens, ones structure, that continues. Okay, it goes here as well. Hundreds, tens, ones, and it would continue on here as well. So ones, tens, hundreds, for whatever digits would come here and here. In a way, the structure gets broken up when you come up to the decimal point, which is here, because these numbers are all smaller than 1, and we keep the structure in general, but it does go in reverse, kind of. So it kind of goes like this: 0, so ones, tens, hundreds, ones, tens, yep, and that'd be hundreds here if there was another digit there. Kind of. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Now that's all very helpful. I just need to move everything down. Okay, so that's all very helpful. And like I say, I want to come back to this area very shortly. But then we deal with what we call periods. And this period here is the ones period. This period here is the thousands period. And this last period, well, not last, but the last one we've got down here is the millions period. And if nothing else, it helps us to say the numbers. So for example, we would say how many millions we've got, then how many thousands we've got, and then how many ones we've got. So for example, we'd say 6,423,051. And we don't normally say 51 ones. You could, but that would be a little bit strange. And then if I was to keep going, I would say point, and then I would keep going down here. But this was where it starts to get a little bit tricky, because this bit is not correct. I said it kind of carries on like this, but this isn't quite correct. In reality, somewhere in here, the whole thing gets messed up a little bit. Now I just want to try and illustrate the problem. This here is the ones, right? So that's 1. This here is the tens, so that's 10. This here is the hundreds. Okay. This here is the ones of thousands, so 1, 2, 3. This here is the tens of thousands, 1, 2, 3. And this one here, this 4, is the hundreds of thousands, right? And the 6, let me just put it way down here. And this digit here is in the ones of millions place value. Okay, now you might be able to see a slight problem emerging. So it's got 1 and 6 zeros, 1 and 5 zeros, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0 zeros. So what happens next? Well, these are all decreasing as we go from left to right by a factor of 10. So I'm dividing by 10 at each place value. So when I get to here, this place value, which is the first place value after the decimal point, its place value's worth is 1 divided by 10, which is 0.1 or 1/10, however you want to write it, as a decimal or as a fraction, right? So it doesn't quite work that this is a ones column. it makes more sense that this becomes a tenths column. Let me just write that properly. Tenths column. So what happens to the one-ths column? So this is what I probably would suggest in terms of how you think about it. Let's see what happens if we do this. If I just move these along one space, like this, just move that along one space. I know it's not beautiful, but it will help. Just think about it. So now I've moved it along one space. The tenths is there. The hundredths is here. There, 0. Let me just write that slightly different. This one here is 0.01, and that's 1/100th. Okay. What happens to this one? Well, it gets replaced by the decimal point. Okay, it gets replaced. And then you can think of it, if we're thinking about periods again, you can just consider it like this. So this can be the oneths. There is no such thing as oneths, by the way, but you can consider it the oneths. And what comes after the oneths? Thousandths. And there are thousandths. So this is the thousandths period. And that helps us say these numbers. So this is 3 thousandths, 9 tenths of thousands, and 900 thousandths. So this here is this 3. You could represent it by saying 3 over 1,000. This 9 becomes 9 over 10,000. Oh, that's not 1,000. 1,000. And the 7 becomes 7 over 100,000. And you can look at it like that.